The Department of Defense Computer Electronic Accommodations Program. Support, Equip, Empower. Welcome to Part 4 of CAP's training about disability etiquette. Individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. The term deaf refers to individuals who are unable to hear well enough to understand speech, preventing the use of speech as a means for processing information. Individuals who are hard of hearing covers a range of limitations, from the ability to hear environmental sounds to those who can understand speech even on the phone, usually with the help of a hearing aid or a cochlear implant. The following tips are specific to interacting with individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. Individuals who are deaf. Many individuals who are deaf communicate with sign language and consider themselves members of a cultural and linguistic minority group. Be aware that these individuals may be offended by the term hearing impaired. In general, it is safest to refer to individuals with profound hearing loss as deaf. Understand that American Sign Language, ASL, is an entirely different language from English, with a syntax all its own. Generally, lip reading is difficult for individuals who are deaf if their first language is ASL, because the majority of sounds in English are formed inside the mouth. It's hard to lip read a second language. It is estimated that only 30% of lip reading is understood by individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. When the exchange of information is complex and/or critical, such as during a job interview, the most effective way to communicate with a native signer is through a qualified sign language interpreter. Employers should be prepared to provide ASL interpreting services or provide other reasonable accommodations. Follow the person's cues to find out if he or she prefers sign language, gesturing, writing, or speaking. If you have trouble understanding the speech of a person who is deaf or hard of hearing, let him or her know. When using a sign language interpreter, look directly at the person who is deaf and maintain eye contact. Remember, you are talking to the individual who is deaf, not the interpreter. Also, try to avoid saying, "Please tell him or her," to the interpreter. Pretending the interpreter is not there may help. Individuals who are hard of hearing. Although some individuals may not object to the term hearing impaired, it is safest to refer to individuals who have hearing loss but who communicate in spoken language as hard of hearing. Before speaking to a person who has a loss of hearing, make sure that you get his or her attention. Depending on the situation, you can extend your arm and wave your hand, tap them on the shoulder, or flicker the lights. If possible, always ask how he or she prefers you to get their attention. It is not uncommon for an individual to not like being tapped on the shoulder. It can be quite startling. When talking to a person who is hard of hearing, face them. Rephrase, rather than repeat, sentences that the person does not understand. A quiet, well-lit room is most conducive to effective communication. If you have your back in front of a light source, such as a window, the glare may obscure your face and make it difficult for the person who is hard of hearing to speech read. Speak clearly. Most individuals who have hearing loss watch individuals' lips as they speak to help them understand. Avoid chewing gum or obscuring your mouth with your hand, a coffee mug, or papers while speaking. There is no need to shout. If the person uses a hearing aid or a cochlear implant, it will be calibrated to normal voice levels. Shouting will distort your words. Provide access. There is a range of communication preferences and styles among individuals with hearing loss, including individuals who are both blind and deaf, that cannot be covered in this brief training. It is helpful to note that the majority of individuals who incurred hearing loss as adults do not communicate with sign language, do use English, and are candidates for assistive technology to help improve communication. Individuals with cochlear implants, like other individuals with hearing loss, will usually inform you what works best for them. Always ask. Individuals who are deaf, and some who have a hearing loss or speech-related disabilities, make and receive telephone calls with the assistance of various technologies. Common technologies include a teletypewriter, TTY, or use of video relay services, VRS. Resources available from CAP. Learn about these and other available assistive technologies for individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing so that you can provide equal access and employment opportunities. CAP can help. Contact us at cap@mail.mil. You may also want to view CAP's online training, providing reasonable accommodations for people with hearing disabilities, to learn more about assistive technology available to federal employees at CAP partnering agencies free of charge. including video phones, captioned telephones, telephone amplifiers, and assistive listening devices, or ALDs. Go to www.cap.mil/newsevents/training.aspx